What is gravy, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Now, a while ago I made a video talking about 7 platinum trophies that I'd be willing to go through a second time, and seeing as we're now on a brand new account and the chances of me going back and redoing some of these games is exceedingly high, I figured it's time for an update. So here are 7 more platinum trophies that I'd do again. Kicking our list off with one of the weirdest games I've ever played. Control is an absolute wild ride from start to finish, and I loved every second of it. The oldest house is confusing as hell for sure, but the gameplay is so incredibly fun, especially once you gain access to more of Jesse's powers, that no amount of stressful bureau alerts or redacted collectibles can dampen my enjoyment. On your way to that podium finish, you'll be taking out endless amounts of weird interdimensional aliens, flying around like Superman if he decided to join the Men in Black, and watching spectacularly eccentric live-action film reels that simultaneously provide backstory and yet still confuse the living hell out of you. This was my first experience with Remedy, and yes, I immediately wanted to go and play through everything else they'd ever made. Quantum Break unfortunately still eludes me, however. But now that I have Alan Wake in my repertoire as well, going back to this and finally doing the DLC seems like a fantastic idea. Speaking of the weird and wacky, next up has to be Bioshock. While this may be a surprise to some of you, the survivor difficulty playthrough with the checkpoints disabled is certainly a sticking point. I honestly enjoy being in Rapture that much that I would do it all over again in a heartbeat. Yes, even taking all those damn photos. The fact is, most of the issues that I encountered when I did this platinum the first time were entirely due to my own poor planning. The research trophies wouldn't have been a problem if I'd simply been working on them the entire time. And no one can deny just how incredible the story and world building is in this game. I wonder if I could do it all in one playthrough without using the difficulty exploit. Third entry now, and I'm going to throw you all a bit of a curveball because there's 2 games in this one. Oxenfree and Afterparty are 2 immensely charming indie games from developers Night School Studios, and believe me when I tell you, they are both incredibly fun games to go through. Afterparty centres around 2 young people that die and wind up in hell, only to discover that there is a way back to the land of the living. They must out-party the devil. What this means is a lot of your playtime is spent playing drinking games with demons, and of course ingesting all kinds of depraved concoctions, in order to beat the devil and reclaim their lives. Why not? Oxenfree, on the other hand, is something much more akin to Stranger Things. A group of students head to a remote island for a little getaway, only to start intercepting creepy radio signals, and it only gets crazier from there. While this is a game I won't go into detail about because it has a much more compelling story, it's one that I would absolutely recommend to anyone. Put it this way, I know what happens in the game, and I still want to do it again. Neither game has a particularly difficult trophy list, though they both require a couple of playthroughs due to their choice-based nature. However, this isn't something to hold against them. Oxenfree alone actually needs 3 playthroughs because one of them requires you to not say a word for the entire game. And honestly, that might be my favourite playthrough of the entire lot. Now this one might be a spicy pick, but the absolute G that is Unknown actually mentioned this in the comments of that last video, and I wholeheartedly agree. The Last of Us Part 2 was a divisive game, to put it mildly. I know a lot of people didn't like some of the choices that were made in that game. I myself got really angry at some of the characters' decisions throughout the story, particularly at the end, but I still really enjoyed my time with the game overall. Well, enjoyed might not be the right word, but you get what I mean. Even the fact that you need to do a partial second playthrough in order to upgrade everything wouldn't put me off, because the game itself plays so well and builds on the systems from the first game in all the right ways. Sure, the collectibles can be a pain in the ass, and if you want the 100% you need to subject yourself to permadeath mode, but even with these added in, I would still rank this quite high on my list of ones to go back to, especially now the TV show's out. Penultimate entry now, and this is one that got quite a lot of flack when it came out. The Order 1886 is a wonderfully cinematic experience that still looks incredible even now. But it didn't really have a leg to stand on when it released because the game is bafflingly short, like ridiculously so. That being said, it's also immensely atmospheric and really does feel like you're playing through a movie set in an alternate timeline, which I will admit now is a massive win for me. Is the combat a bit derivative? Yeah, sure. Is one of the chapters in the game essentially just a cutscene? Unfortunately so. But considering how cheap you can find this game now, and the fact that the Platinum trophy is fairly straightforward, I can absolutely sit here with a straight face and recommend it to you. Some of the trophies can be a bit annoying, mainly the ones linked to the black site mechanic, but outside of some kill related ones and a bunch of collectibles, all you need to do is enjoy this weird and wonderful tale of knights and monsters, and 10 hours later, collect your platinum. What's not to love? And rounding out this video, it wouldn't be a list of games that I enjoy without at least one creepy little indie title. Feel free to insert Little Nightmares 2 or Shady Part of Me here if you prefer, but today we're showing some love to the blissfully Tim Burton-esque Lost in Random. Again, I've spoken about this game before on the channel. I don't remember exactly when, but I'm pretty sure I have. However, it's my video, and if I want to gush about a game then I will, goddammit. Lost in Random is an action-adventure game set in the fictional world of Random, a place filled with twisted characters in which everything is decided by the roll of a dice. And you take control of a young girl named Even, who goes on a fantastical quest across the world to save her sister, Odd. Do you see what they did there? From the clutches of an evil queen. So far, so fantasy. But as I said, everything is determined by random chance, and that extends to the gameplay too. Combat revolves around you throwing a magic dice, the number it landing on determining your mana points that you can then spend on randomly drawn cards to use in battle. Okay, so this might not be for everyone, but it's such a fun combat system, and I mean there's only like 15 cards in your deck, so it's really not that hard to get the ones you want. For the trophies anyway, there's a few combat related ones that mean performing specific actions or combos. There's a rather decent chunk of collectibles ranging from cards to storybook pages, as well as your typical side quest related trophies. However, the only downside to this is the fact that the game does not include a chapter select, meaning that there are a few trophies that are missable, and that is never a good thing. Even with this slight drawback though, I would without question go back and finish this game again because it is so much fun. The art style and character design are peak Burton. The story, while a bit straightforward, is still really heartfelt and impactful. And honestly, that combat is so addicting in its simplicity that I could literally replay it time and time again. And I probably will. But that's going to do it for this video. If there are any games on this list that caught your interest, then make sure to let me know in the comments down below. Or if there's some games that you guys would have had on your list to redo, I'd love to hear your suggestions. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more, please do hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. If you're unsure what to watch next, I can highly recommend that video right there. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I shall catch you all next time.